Hey, I'm Joe Zieja, and I'm here with Anime Impulse. Now you recognize me. I wasn't familiar with Fire Emblem Heroes. I'm not too much of a mobile gamer, so I didn't really know what was going on. But then once Three Houses came up in front of me, it was crazy. Like, I knew it was gonna be big, and then when I got to announce that I was Claude last week, the internet exploded. It was a great feeling to see so much love outpouring from that community. They're super enthusiastic, super kind. It's been fantastic. When I found out I was cast as Claude, I first didn't really know what it meant because I didn't know what game it was for yet. We went through the audition sides and, I kind of read for everybody. They called me back and they're like, hey, you booked Claude. And I was like, that's cool. I knew he was like the main dude is what they kind of explaining, but I had no idea it was Fire Emblem. So I was like, okay, cool. I wonder what this is gonna be like, as with most video games. And really the onset of the wow factor of like how big Fire Emblem Three Houses was gonna be and how big of a character Claude was gonna be, it rolled slowly. Like between sessions, I would see the fan art start to pop up and I'm like, well, this game isn't even out yet. People are drawing stuff. So yeah, it was kind of like a slow roll realizing. I posted a picture this morning that Maureen Price took of us, all three of us, right? Within an hour, someone had drawn our characters in the same pose and it was good. It's been a weird life. I started out as an officer in the United States Air Force, and then I started working for the government. And in the middle of that, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine and was basically like, I've always wanted to try voice acting. And I was thinking stuff like anime and video games, animation, cartoons. And he's like, well, my company used to hire corporate VO from this website. Why don't you give it a shot? I was a hobbyist musician making music for Overclock Remix for, I don't know, 3 years at that point. So I had like some microphones, I knew how to do it, I knew how to record stuff. I booked the first thing I auditioned for, and it snowballed so big and so fast. I was already talking to my employer about quitting my job 8 months after I did my first voiceover gig. Ace Combat 7 was a really fun experience just because of my Air Force background. It was really interesting to step into a game and understand everything they were talking about. There was a couple of times where like me and the production team had to talk. It was like, that's not the word that you would use here to describe this. And they were like, okay, yeah, that made sense. So it was kind of neat to like adopt a little bit of a consultant role. It actually made it more fun after the game came out when I was interacting with fans, because I stream games that I'm in. And we streamed Ace Combat 7 together and went through the whole thing. So it was fun to kind of like share Air Force stories with the fans who are very air savvy and stuff like that. So yeah, that was a really unique experience. The Air Force background made Ace Combat 7 super fun to work on. My backlog is usually full of old games. I just finished the new God of War, which I guess isn't that old. Before that, I finished Shadow of the Colossus. Both of those games are phenomenal. And then I just picked up the new Spider-Man game on PS4. But on my stream, it's Judgment right now. Me and the Shadowverse team always go back to one direction I was given in the middle of a session for Rowan in Shadowverse. And he was like, yeah, I need you to be like 25% more dragon. And that was like, I was like, okay, let me take out my dragon scale and just sort of slide this to 25%. We laughed over it. That was a pretty funny direction. My high school self, I don't know, my high school self would probably have gone Blue Lions, to be completely honest. Just because even when I was in the military, it's very like justice focused and like very serious, very like honor is everything. So that whole idea of being like this stoic dude that stands up to injustice, yeah, I probably would have gone Blue Lions. Sorry, fawns. First of all, there'd be way better pizza and way better bagels. I don't know, like the attitude of Garreg Mach kind of jives with like the way my high school felt. So maybe it wouldn't be too different. They'd be a lot more walking and talking instead of walking and talking. I haven't had Garreg Mach's pizza, so I don't really know for sure, but I can pretty much guarantee Jersey's would have been better. So like my pizza preference, if it's good pizza, it doesn't need anything on it. So it's just plain, which I guess is a very Jersey term. If you go out here and you say plain pizza, they're like, you don't want anything on it? I'm like, I just don't want any toppings on it. So like plain or just pepperoni is probably what I would pick. Claude, on the other hand, I don't know. He'd probably be out with some girl and be like, well, what do you want? You know, like he'd make it happen. He'd do whatever. He would do whatever his companion would want. I feel like Claude's playlist would be like just 5 Bruno Mars tracks. So it's gonna be Uptown Funk, it's gonna be Marry Me, it's gonna be whatever the one about pink champagne on ice, like that's all gonna be on there. I don't know, people think Claude is like this big romancer, so I guess that's probably what his playlist would be. Just Bruno Mars on loop.
Gold jewelry shining so bright.
I've always been pretty like forward driven. It's hard to get me like off track. But I would definitely say like, hey man, you need to loosen up. My younger self definitely needed to learn how to like take a joke, take a deep breath, relax, and just relax, chill out a little bit. So yeah, it'd probably be a pretty sword. I've always been like a basic sword guy. I wish I could come up with a more interesting answer, like no, it would be a bow with 2 flaming axes on the end. But no, it would probably just be a straight up sword. Not like a huge giant broadsword, but not like a little tiny rapier either. Somewhere in the middle, something utilitarian. Yeah, that's what I'd be using. Or a rocket launcher, whatever. My workout routine? So it kind of changes. If I could do one thing every day, it would be parkour. I'm a parkour athlete. That's kind of like, that's my favorite thing to do to work out. So like flips and jumps and climbing and anything that's super interesting. So I like to mix it up. I really don't like to do the same thing over and over again, except parkour. I would do that every day. Balancing creative endeavors, I think, is tough for any creator. For me, I like to try to cycle. So like whatever I'm focused on is something that I am really focused on. With Fire Emblem coming out this week, I've been really focused on like interacting with fans and making sure that I'm there for them. I haven't written anything. 2 weeks ago, I spent a lot of time hanging out with my family because it was sort of a slower time, and I was like, okay, that's what I'm focusing on. So I try never to multitask. I think multitasking is a myth. I think you really can only focus on one thing at a time. And you need to be able to switch your focus quickly if you want to be productive in a lot of different areas. Okay, yeah, I did make the video, which is 3 reasons why you should choose Golden Deer. So I'm gonna see if I can get around not just reiterating those 3 reasons, although they're 3 really good reasons why you should choose Golden Deer in Fire Emblem. We do have the color going for us, right? So the color gold is a super cool color. I'm not saying that blue isn't a great color or black isn't it? Is black a color? I don't even know. I said the mascot, deer are adorable, they're docile, but they will mess you up. They will mess you up if you mess with them. Yeah, we have cookies. Golden Deer has cookies. Voice acting in games for me, and games in general, have been this incredible metamorphosis of storytelling. If there's one theme in my life, it's the idea of stories and how they shape our lives, how they shape our interactions, how they cross cultural boundaries, how they help you see the world from somebody else's point of view that you never would have understood without that story. But you really get a sense of it when you are experiencing a story through that person's eyes. And there's no other medium in which you can do that with as much power as you can in video games. You're literally picking up the controller. You're becoming a persona and walking yourself through a story that at the end of it, if it's a well-crafted story, you come away with a wider point of view. You come away with a different definition of what it means to be human with all of these billions and billions of different kinds of people. Voice acting, having a part in telling that story, personifying that person, that different point of view, that's the best thing in the world. Thanks so much for watching my Q&A, guys. It has been a ton of fun. If you're looking to interact with me more, you can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet at Joe Zieja. That's Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and my Twitch channel if you want to get together and play some of the games I'm in and talk about whatever you want to talk about in the chat. I love interacting with fans, so thank you so much for coming by, and I can't wait to see you in whatever else we've got going on. Thanks. It's so relaxing.